Hello, this video is about installing the Foundation front-end framework from Zurb version 4 onto Visual Studio MVC4 and how we can install Foundation to get a responsive design onto our application website. So as you see right here, the Foundation framework is located at foundation.zurb.com. You simply just download Foundation 4 here. Foundation 4 is the version at the moment, as of today. When you download Foundation 4, you have a series of options here that you can pick. You can actually customize your download. You can see all these options here, and even colors. You can change just about everything before you actually download the custom build. But in my case, I went ahead and downloaded the default CSS version. Currently, the Foundation framework is version 4.2.3. I have already downloaded 4.2.3 and installed it in this directory. And of course, it's coming in a zip file. You simply go ahead and unzip it. Whenever you expand the folder, you'll see some files and folders. The humans.txt folder, which is basically a text file that you put on your site to kind of, give a little description of what's going on your site. The index.html, which just is an example default HTML page. You can kind of see what's going on if it's actually working. It's just a nice page they give you. And of course the robots.txt file, in which you can actually tell the bots what to see or what not to see. You also see three folders here. There's CSS. You get the foundation.css. You get the foundation.min.css, which actually is the minified version of this file. These two files are the same. This right here has everything stripped out, all the spaces stripped out. Then you have the normalized.css, which basically what this does, it normalizes everything. In other words, it gets everything to a set base, all your elements on your site. The next folder is your images folder. It's got .getKeep, and we don't have to worry about that one at all. Next is your JavaScript folder. And you'll notice that there's a foundation.min.js JavaScript. We'll be using that. And then you have the Foundation folder, and these are all the, I guess what you call the JavaScript applications or features that Foundation gives you. And if you go to the site, you can actually look through each one. Magellan, Orbit, Placeholder. These are nice little applications, little modules you can put on your site that really are very good and interactive. And in the future, I'll be using some of these as well. Next one is the vendor. What this is in order to activate or use the Foundation Zurb, you have some JavaScript files that you'll need to call in. What Foundation Zurb uses right now is it starts off with zepto.js, then it falls back on jQuery if your browser doesn't support that. Then of course the custom.modernize.js is available as well. So let's go ahead and install manually Foundation Framework Responsive Design into our application. Alright. One thing before I move on to that, you'll notice right here that there's one of the things that the Zurb has given is very good documentation. And on this page right here, it actually tells you an HTML template to go by. And it goes over what you need to put to actually start utilizing the Foundation features. So anyways, let's get started. On one of the other videos, I went ahead and created an application. We're going to continue with that. It's called the RJB Gallery. I'm just going to create like a gallery website, nothing really fancy. This is kind of what we left off with. This is their layout page. You've got the styles.render.content/CSS, and you can see right here it calls in the site CSS, which I'm not going to use. I'm actually going to take that out. And of course, it comes with its own modernizer, which is fine. I can go ahead and use that. If you remember, at render body basically brings in your view content. In this case, it's going to be the index, which is an H2 tag. This is our JB gallery. Then when it goes and calls our jQuery scripts, we're going to get rid of that file too. And of course, on the other video, it talks about, or I talk about, if your view requires some JavaScript specific to the view, you can call that in. And the false being here is here in case there is no scripts to call, it will give you an error. So let's go and call, actually let's go and install or go and add the Zurb files to our solution. So the first thing to do is we're going to come over here. I'm going to close the scripts right here. Okay, everything's closed. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is go and create a folder. And what I'm going to create that folder is going to be called Style Sheets. So right click Solutions, click Add, and just click a new folder. And I'm going to call it Style Sheets. Simple as that. Now remember this folder right here. The CSS has some options here. And what we're going to do is go and call these CSS files. So what I'm going to do now is go and call these in. So I'm going to right click, add existing item, and what I'm going to do is go look for that, Zurb 4, right click that, CSS. I'm just going to put all of them in. Really, you just need to call one of these, but what I like to do is call this one is just as a reference. So I'm going to call all of them, and as you see, they pop up right here. These are the style sheets we're going to call. Now, what's going to happen is, one of the things that on .NET 4.5 is something called bundling. And what it is, and I'll open this file, this is called the app start, and then you'll see the C# file called bundle config. I'm going to open that, and you'll see a neat little feature on layout. For instance, at styles.render content/CSS, if we look for that right here, CSS, that's going to call in this file. Now, as you see right here, content themes base.css, or even bundles jQuery, if we can put a similar, like for instance right here, scripts.render bundles jQuery, this statement right here, through the bundle config, let's go and find that. Here it is right here. What that is when you call that, it's going to call all the statements underneath it completely. So for instance, if we called in content themes base CSS, all these files are going to be included. So it's just one statement calling all these files. And that's what I'm going to do. With the style sheet, right here, style sheet, we're calling in 3 files. Okay. Oh, and there's actually one more file I'm going to call in here. But I'll just call that in a little bit later while I show you this. So what I'm going to do in this bundle.config is go and type in a new bundle, and that's bundles.add. It's going to be a new style bundle, and it's going to be let's see here, style sheet /CSS, and it's going to include, and I like to start a new line here, style sheets normalize.css. Let's call it another file. Style sheets / foundation.css, and this file, style sheets app.css, and then we're going to close this and hit Control Save. So when we call in that style bundle, which I'm going to show you in a second, it's actually going to call all three of these files. Now, as you notice right here, app.css does not exist in the style sheet folder. So I'm going to go and do that now. So I'm going to hit Add, and I'm going to create a new item. And then what I'm going to look for is a style sheet, and I'm just going to call that app. Click Add. And there's the app right here. I'm just going to kill that for right now because I don't need it. And let's go back to bundling. Okay, so let's go back to layout. And what we're going to do now is we've got to call that bundle. So in order to call that bundle, we're going to go right under the styles, the styles section right here, and I've already got this typed out. So at styles, which is a razor statement, styles.render style sheet /CSS. Now when that's called, it's going to look in the bundle config. It's going to look for that path, which is right here, and it's going to include all these files per that one statement. So instead of calling this style sheet, this style sheet, this style sheet, you simply call the bundle, and these three files will be included just like that. One statement for three files. Okay, let's make sure we have normalized, we have foundation, and we have app CSS. Looks like we're good on that. Let's go ahead and save that. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and delete this. This is the default content CSS that came with it. I'm not going to need that, so I'm going to go and take that away. And actually, I'm going to go and comment that. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we have to then call our JavaScript. Okay, and as I mentioned before, Zurb has a nice template in which they tell you exactly how to call this in. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to call in the JavaScript. Now as you can see, there's the body, your body contact, and then it wants you to go ahead and hit that script. So let's go ahead and click over here. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and call that in. And the first script I'm going to call in, and I've already got it copied, is you're checking for the Zepto support and load jQuery if necessary. So what's going to happen is this document write is actually going to write the path of where the foundation scripts are going to be. You can see the source. It does say scripts, JS, vendor, and then there's Zepto and jQuery. But as you know, our scripts right now has these files only. So that means we're going to create a folder called JS and then vendor, and we're going to put in the Zepto and the jQuery file. So let's go now. We're going to leave this for right now. We'll delete that at a later date. So let's go and create right click on scripts. We're going to add a folder, and we're just going to call it JS. Under JS, I'm going to have another folder, and we're just going to call it vendor. Vendor is kind of what actually is what Foundation had called on their file, and I'll show that to you real quick. As you see right here, JS, and they put it under vendor. We're just matching that, that's all. You can actually call it whatever you want, but I'm just going to go ahead and match that in there. So right now I'm going to call in these. I'm going to call in these files now. So go ahead and click vendor, right click vendor, hit add, existing item, go back here in JS, click vendor, and I'm going to go ahead and call all these files and just click add. So right now, to match this path, we've got scripts, JS, vendor, and then we've got the Zepto and jQuery. You can see basically what this does is it's going to call Zepto, and if it's there, great. Stop there. If not, then go to jQuery and use the jQuery library. And right here, you've got JS, vendor, jQuery, and Zepto. So that works out fine. Okay, after that, Foundation gives you two options here. You can either call in the min.js file, which I'm going to show you, or you can go and call in each of these files. Now there's two ways of doing it. If you call the one-line statement, which I'm going to show you in a second, you're actually calling all these files into one. Now if you feel that some of these JavaScripts you will never need, then you can call in each script as needed. So let's go back, and as you see right here, we're at the script, and we've got the document.write, and right underneath it, I'm going to pull in the minified version. So I'm actually going to do a little comment. Pull the version. And I'm going to call the script. So script source scripts /js /foundation.min.js, and that should be it. Hit Control Save. So let's go and look at this. We're looking at the folder of scripts and then JS. Then we're looking for a file named foundation.min.js. Well, let's go and look for that. As you see under JS, there's actually just a vendor, and that's it. So we need to pull in the foundation min file, and from the download of the foundation 4.2.3 under JS, you'll see that it has a vendor, which we already added, and then there's actually this file kind of living by itself, foundation.min.js. Now, just to let you know, this foundation folder right here actually has all of these files available. Remember, this file right here actually contains all of these into one. So I'm just going to call this one just for availability and just bring them all in. So I'm going to go ahead and right-click JS, add existing item, and I'm going to look for that file, and there it is, foundation.min.js. I'm going to click add. So now, as you see, this script right here, it's pulling the minified foundation JavaScript version, is now in our solution. It's in our project, and that's great. So now let's see what Foundation Zurb wants us to do. So right here, we've called in all these files, but remember, we called it into that minified file, so it's ready to go. The next step right here is we have to go ahead and basically activate these JavaScripts, kind of bring them all in, all at once, declare them all at once. So we're going to go ahead, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and copy that. Let's go and move that out of the way. And right under this script, I'm just going to put call the scripts. Let's go and do a comment. And paste that guy right in. Okay, so what we've got right now is the things that we've changed, the things we've learned here, is that we've went ahead and called in the stylesheet.css. Remember, bundle config is used here So when we call in that one statement, which is right here, bundle config will go and call all three of these at one time. The next one we've done is we went ahead and loaded this script. And this script, this statement right here basically says call in Zepto, call in the Zepto, and Zepto is under the vendor JavaScript. Now if Zepto is not supported, go ahead and fall back on jQuery. And that's a great thing to do. Okay, then once we've done that, we want to call in the foundation.min.js JavaScript. We'll need that for the foundation framework. And that's directly under the JS folder. Let's see, it's located right here. And then right here, we're going to declare, call, what are you going to call it? It's going to activate all these scripts. And that's located right here on lines 27 through 29. All right, once we've done that, we're going to test to see if foundation framework is now activated. So what I'm going to do is go back to index, and I'm going to write a simple column. And one of the big features that I really like on the foundation framework is the grid. And let me go to it real quick. Here's the grid. Great documentation. Real easy to follow. As you see, it's kind of a grid type system, and that's what I'm going to use. So what I'm going to do is just put in a grid real quickly and call in a panel, and just to see if it actually works. So let's go back here. And how you do that's pretty simple. Class equals the starter row. Then what we want to do is tell how many columns this is going to have, and I'm going to make it a large. Now go and read the documentation for large versus small. Foundation does a great job with mobile, so it kind of where the grid is used with small for mobile type, the way it displays on mobile smartphones and so forth versus desktops. So you need to read the documentation pretty thoroughly on when to use large versus small. This is going to be a 12 columns, and all I'm going to do here is I'm going to just call a panel, and actually I'm going to make it call out if I remember. Let me go and look at that real quick. And panels. This is what I'm trying to retrieve right here. This is called a callout panel. It is callout. Just want to verify that. So I'm going to go and put the class of callout, and I'm going to say yes, the Zurb foundation framework works. And hit Control S to save. So let's go ahead and see if this works. Hopefully on the first shot it will. And we're going to debug that. Thinking. What do you know? It works great. Yes, the foundation framework works. So as you see right here, the callout panel does work great. And this was manually installing foundation. Now I'm going to show you something about the grid that I really like. So right here I'm going to go and call, let me decrease that, and call it another row. Show you the neat power of the foundation framework. And what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to copy over here, but instead of 12 I'm going to call in 6. And just put in 6 columns. Let me go ahead and hit tab on that guy. And then what I'm going to do is keep it in the row. It's obviously row. Create the other 6 columns right here. I'm just going to do that, call 6 other columns. Hit Control S. Let's decrease that a little bit. Don't make it so big. Go ahead and refresh on that. And as you see, this row spans 12 columns. This row has a 6th column and a 6th column. Now here's the neat thing. As I shrink it, you'll notice that the 12th column stays the same because that's what it's supposed to be. The 6th column and the 6th column, it gracefully moves underneath. So when you look at a smartphone or a small tablet, 7-inch tablet or whatever, it will be responsive. It will be responsive to the screen, and that's why it's called responsive design. So elegantly move to the size of the display that you're using. And as you see, it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And as you make it bigger, it goes to its original shape when we had it. So that's it. That's how you install the Zurb Foundation version 4.2.3 as of today onto Visual Studio MVC project. And like I said, I'm going to do a little cleanup on some files I don't need, such as these right here that come with it. But the main point I was trying to make is how to install it. There's no really automatic process. There might be in its package. You might be able to do that, but I like to do things to where I kind of know what's happening. And in another video, I'm going to go ahead and talk about more about the app.css style sheet, which right now has nothing. But for now, we're going to leave it at that. And this is the video on how to install the Zurb Foundation framework onto your MVC project. Thanks a lot.